What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here helping you take your game to the next level. And today I am back with a video that has been requested a lot, and it was to kind of break down the $DB Fire 2 press defense. Many of you probably know how to run this, but there's a lot of people that don't quite understand the ins and outs of it yet, so I'm going to try my best to break this down for y'all and show you why it's one of the best and most popular defenses this year. And I know the past few days videos have been not as consistent. I've just been really busy this past week, so don't worry, I'm gonna be back to the daily videos going forward. Shouldn't have any more problems, but just had a lot of stuff going on the past few days, so I wasn't able to put out as many videos as I normally would. Now, for the DB Fire 2 press, your personnel is important. So your two inside slot cornerbacks is where your money is going to be here. You need two guys that are, decently fast. You want over 90 speed for sure. And two guys that are very good in man coverage, because you're going to be manning them up a lot. Sometimes you're going to blitz them, but you're going to man them up a lot. You also want a pretty good defensive line, because you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna man them up a lot. It's gonna be a three-man rush a lot, so you want guys that can block shed, that can get off those blocks and get pressure on the quarterback. Your two outside guys don't matter that much because they're gonna be in soft squat zones every down. So good zone coverage is nice. Good hit power and tackling is good too for the run, because they're going to be in run fits. But your two guys out there don't have to be the greatest, because they're not required to really cover a lot of ground. They're just sitting in that one area. So let's look at this, and one thing you definitely want to be sure of is that you have auto flip off, because that's going to mess you. So when you break the huddle, first thing you want to do is baseline and press. Now, it's not going to take this long in a regular game, because if you do it as you're breaking the huddle, they're just going to pretty much be set up just like this. We're going to show it against bunch weak, because that's pretty much the most popular formation in the game. So I'm going to show you how you would defend bunch weak with this, some things you want to look out for. So basic setup is, of course, you baseline and press right out of the gate. Some people leave the line spread. I like to pinch the line and crash them out. I think they get better block shed that way. So basically what you want to do is you have to understand what people are trying to do on offense if you want to use this defense, because it's all about anticipating what plays are coming, knowing who to man up. So if you think about bunch weak, the main plays that most people use out of bunch weak, the most popular ones are going to be corner strike, you're going to have verticals, and you're going to have PA post. That's the most popular plays in bunch week by far. Those are the ones you're going to see used the most. So you have to understand your opponent's tendencies so that you can know what to do. So if we're looking at corner strike first, some people are going to run it kind of just basically like this, and they might, take the A wide receiver and put him on like a, let's see, they might put him on an in route or a slant or something like that. But basically, what a lot of people try to do with corner strike is attack the flats. You got the tight end going to the flat, and you got the running back going to the flat. So if I'm expecting corner strike and I'm using DB Fire 2 press, I'm going to take the cornerback on the left, man him up on the running back. That completely takes away his table route. On the right side of the field, I would man this guy up on the tight end. That takes away his flat route. The soft squats are going to take away both corners, and then you can use either of these guys. Since these linebackers are invert hooks, that's going to do really good at defending up the field. So against bunch, I'm gonna leave the linebacker on the bunch side. I'm gonna let the computer user him, because he's gonna drop back deep and he's gonna play anything over here pretty well. I'm gonna use this guy on the left, and just my job is protect the middle. So if this A wide receiver is coming across the middle, he's my responsibility. Most people come out in corner strike and they like to abuse his halfback route, but we have him manned up. That's a no-go. You can see Janoris Jenkins there is not having it. That could have easily been a pick six. So that's you have to think about these things. If you're expecting corner strike, that's how you would ideally like to defend it. Now, another way people might run corner strike is, you see some people, they'll like drag the tight end, and then they might put the outside B wide receiver on a slant and do like a motion slant like that. That's another way people use it. So from here you can kind of switch it up. You kind of have to decide what you want to do with this cornerback on the left. If you're expecting a tight end on a drag route, typically I would say always man him up on the tight end if you're expecting a drag route, because it's going to absolutely kill that. You're going to give up the running back, but he's not going to get that much. He might get 2 or 3 yards in the flats against a soft squat, so it's not going to be. You have to pick and choose a situation. If it's a if it's a 4th and 2, man him up on the running back, because most people are looking to get the easy dump off to the running back, so you can take him away and turn over on downs. But if this is 1st down, 2nd down, if the field's wide open, you might want to take away the tight end if you're expecting him to come across the middle. On this side of the field, however, you got to say, you can't really, if you're expecting this play, you're not going to man him up on X because he's going to be of no use. X isn't coming across this side of the field. So the best thing to do would probably be to man him up on B. Now, the delayed slant's typically still going to beat this, but you're going to at least have a guy in the area so he won't get a big gain out of it. And then again, it's your responsibility to user over the middle. But let's just, for the sake of this play, we're going to throw this drag route. And as you can see, again, that should have been a pick 6 right there. He dropped the pick, but that's what you want. You want him coming across the middle right into your man defender. So now let's say you're expecting verticals. Most people set verticals up the same way. They streak the tight end, they drag X, and they motion this B wide receiver over. And when you do this, he's going to kill all cover 2 defenses because he's going to get past the soft squat, and the streak is going to hold the safety. So if you're expecting verticals, if you're facing bunch, this cornerback over here to the right where Cromartie is, you man him up on B most of the time when you're defending bunch, just because of that verticals route. Some other routes will be able to beat it, that's fine, but you do not want to give up the big play with verticals, because if you do, you're giving up 30+ yards, sometimes a touchdown. But by manning him up, that verticals route can never beat you now because he's going to run down the field with him. Now, what you're going to do with the cornerback on the other side of the field, if you're expecting verticals, you always man him up on A, because A is going to be running a crossing route over the middle of the field. And then, again, you're going to let this linebacker take the tight end on the streak, because he's going to run back with him, because he's in a vertical hook. And then you're going to take this guy, and you're going to jump over the middle. So in this case, Des Bryant's going to run the drag over the middle. We would run with him and user him to this side of the field and manually take him away. And by doing that, there's really nothing that's going to be open here. You see, Cromartie's going to run with B. We could try to throw to A, but the cross man's there, and it's defended. So again, a lot of this is anticipating what play your opponent's going to run. It's a chess game at the end of the day. That's why the best defensive players are the best at anticipating their opponents, picking up on their tendencies, noticing little things like, oh, when he motions this guy, he's usually running this play. You have to pick up on those things so that you know who to properly man up. If we're looking at PA post, a lot of people run PA post like this. They'll just drag the tight end and that's it. So you kind of have a choice. You can take this guy and man him up on the tight end, or you can man him up on A. I would man him up on the tight end because it completely takes him away. And then this cornerback over here, if you're expecting PA post, you man him up on A. But if you're not quite sure what's going on, then you man him up on B, because, if he happens to be running verticals, at least B can never be a threat to you. But if you strongly feel like it's PA post, then you man him up on A, and you call that a day. And they come out here and they run this again. You see, if I try to throw this drag over here, it's not happening. It's locked up. So that is pretty much the theory behind cross manning. Is you want to man these guys up on who you think are the biggest threats coming across the middle of the field. In bunch, it's a little bit different because of the verticals route. You kind of, I'm not going to say are forced to man this guy up over here on B, but you're going to do that a lot of the times just to prevent the big play. Now, if you're just expecting, for whatever reason, X to come across the middle of the field and you're expecting B to just be on a streak or something like that, then yeah, you would man him up on X, because at that point, you have to try to figure out what your opponent's doing. Now, when you want to blitz out of this, I think it's more consistent when you set this up. If you have the time, I like to slide each cornerback out just a little bit, because it gives them a little bit of help, because the offensive line can't really slide over to get them as easily. And you can just do that when you break the huddle. You slide this guy over, you just hit the B button, and it just immediately puts you on the other cornerback, and you can slide him over. Now, if I want to blitz from the left, I'm going to blitz the linebacker on the left, and I'm going to control the linebacker on the right. And then I would still take this cornerback and man him up on somebody. Whoever I think's a threat, in this case it's typically going to be B, and then I'm going to use this guy and I'm lurking over the middle. Now we're blitzing 5, so the coverage isn't as good, but the idea is we cross man and play coverage so much that they're not expecting the blitz, and the best time to hit somebody with the blitz is when they're not expecting it. So if we drop back now, you can see we got the pressure coming in, and that's why it's important to have fast guys here too for when you blitz. Now we can do it from the other side of the field as well. We would just blitz the opposite side cornerback there, and then we would take this guy and man him up on like the tight end or the A receiver. Thinks a threat. If we think the running back's a threat, whoever we think's a threat, that's what we're gonna do. And then we would use this guy right here. Now against bunch, I typically like to blitz from the right more because the running back's not on the right, and because from a cross-manning standpoint, we get better cross-manning with the left cornerback than the right cornerback in bunch week. So then we're blitzing from that side of the field, and it's the same thing. It's coming in fast, it's flying in, and we're catching our opponent off guard. So you need to know when to mix the blitz in, when to cross-man the right guys. It's not a defense for a beginner. It's something that you have to already be kind of good at the game to get the most out of this, to know, who to man up in what situations, to know when to blitz and when not to blitz, to know when to just completely switch it up and, make it look like you're running the cross-man defense, but you're actually running a cover 3 and you're just, all out zoning them. All of these things matter, so it's something that you want to practice a lot, you want to get in the lab with, you want to, take it into games. Don't expect it to work for you right away because it just takes some trial and error. But once you get it down, it is probably the best defense in the game as far as coverage goes, and it's very hard to move the ball against if you're, running it to perfection. So for those that weren't too familiar with it, I hope this helped a little bit. Try it out and see if it works for you, and I will see you guys next time.